Welcome to App Design Tips. It's high time we dive into the top 10 Figma plugins of 2023, a notable year due to the significant leap in AI integration. I've been rolling out these videos annually, and traditionally we saw a lot of repetitive categories with icons, stock image, and text generator plugins, and they've been the workhorses for most designers. But 2023 has flipped the script thanks to AI intertwining with Figma plugins elevating what's achievable. Nearly half of the plugins on this year's list harness AI power, and spoiler alert, one of them can autonomously craft entire website wireframes along with relevant text, bidding goodbye to the old lorem ipsum. This episode is brought to you by Figma, who's generously offering my top-rated Figma course for free for a brief period. Hit the link in the description to snag this offer and master designing a full-fledged mobile app from scratch. Quickly skimming through, here's a peek at the plugins and their capabilities with chapter markers for effortless navigation. Now, how did these plugins earn their spot? It's not about popularity or trends, but the tangible impact they had on my efficiency and the value during my exploration of hundreds of plugins. Some that I thought were very promising fell short due to a lack of intuitiveness or substantial value addition, especially a few AI-centric ones that felt a little gimmicky. For instance, while designing in Figma, I often pair up with ChatGPT for compelling copy which seamlessly integrates into my design just using copy and paste. While some plugins mimic this, only a few truly save time or enhance the copy's quality. So without further delay, let's unveil this year's stellar plugins. Alright, first up we have Iconify, and this is actually the most popular plugin in the market and probably for a good reason. 110% of websites, apps, or interfaces use icons, and this plugin is very powerful, utilizing multiple icon libraries. There's over 100,000 free icons, and you can import them in whatever format that you want. So let's take a look at this one. Alright, so to jump to this plugin, we go to Plugins, Iconify. And this is what the plugin looks like. And what's great about this is there are a few different categories from general to animated icons, emoji, and things like that. We also have access to multiple categories. So we have the material symbols here, phosphor, solar. So you can see different types. This one's a little bit more playful. And then you can jump into these arrows or the likes, or things like that, just to see what those look like. So very great for exploring icons. But if you want to just jump in and search, we can search for video here. And as we go down here, we can see that we have 104 icons for video. And if you want to match the same look, that's where we jump into material design icons. And we can see all of the icons look very similar. Now, when you select an icon here, you can actually choose the color within here. So here's my FigJam colors right here. And you can choose to import this as just a regular icon or import as a component, and it'll generate that component for you. If we move this out of the way, we can see what that component looks like right here. And we have the ability to jump in here because it is vector. We can go ahead and change that up. Maybe we like our play buttons to be just a little bit more acute. Isn't that a cute play button? All right, so that's Iconify. Next up is Unsplash, and if you've been designing for too long, you've likely heard of Unsplash is a royalty-free stock image library. And what's great about this plugin is you can have it right within Figma and in your designs. So jumping into plugins, we can go to Unsplash here. And this is what the Unsplash window looks like. So you can very simply just search for things like, maybe I want an image of a squirrel. So we can search for that. You'll notice that some of these have Unsplash Plus, and that is if you do have an account, and if you're paying for Unsplash, you can actually unlock hundreds of thousands of more images. So you would go to more and log in or register for that. But I like to stick to a lot of these free images here. So I like that image. We'll go ahead and add that one, and that one loads directly into Figma. And as we do this, we can see that we have the original size. It's a very large window. Or if we just draw a frame here and have that frame selected, let's just click on another one here, and that will fill the frame or the object that you have selected. So that's another way to add that. And another great feature of this plugin is if you decide to use this image for your website, we can see that we have the cropped version right here, but if you want that original version in case you want to do some responsive design, right here into the inspector window, you can choose to view image on Unsplash. It'll open up Unsplash here, and we can just download the full resolution here and crop it in whatever ratio that we want. If you're enjoying this content so far and want to see more videos like this, it really does the channel a lot of good if you can hit subscribe and hit that bell icon so that you're notified of future videos like the FigJam widgets. I'm going to be talking about the top 10 FigJam widgets inside of FigJam and Figma. So if you want more content like that, stay tuned, hit subscribe, and we'll show you that in the next one. But let's move on. Next up is ColorAI, and this is a great plugin if you're just starting out with a brand. This is a plugin where you can talk about the personality, whether your brand is aggressive or playful, what types of colors that you want, and just really what you want to see in a brand. It'll give you a color palette that you can use to just explore new ideas. So for example, if you were in the Figma community and you just take a template like this blackout landing page by Rodrigo, you can open this in Figma and just explore how you would like your brand to be. So you can see that there are some local styles here already applied. And I can jump right into the plugin and choose ColorAI right here. It'll open up this window and you can just talk about what inspires you for a brand. So a minimalistic palette with a dark blue background and a light blue foreground. What I might say is this is for a sporting good website. I want a bold red call to action and more subtle secondary colors. I want this brand to be aggressive, bold, and adventurous. Similar to Red Bull. So something like that, and then you can choose the number of colors, click generate, and once you get this color palette, you can explore with a template, just apply those and see how that's going to look with your layout. And here we go. We have something that we can try. So with these colors here, when we have this selected, you can see all the 15 colors within here. And all you'd need to do is just take that red color. This is FF0000. We'll just copy that hex color. And if there's anything applied like right here, we should be able to just click on this gear. So you click on the canvas first to get all your local color styles, and just click on the gears right here to just change this. So we'll change that here and see what that looks like. It looks like that hasn't been applied to all these elements. So all you need to do is select all of these here. I'm going to hold down Command and Shift to select multiple. And when we go to fill now, we can go into this new color and see what that looks like. So I'm just going to try this a few more times within here and see what that looks like. So that's something that I think that I like. You can try some of these other colors here. If you don't want to apply them to the color style yet, what you could do is just take the color and just take a few elements and just plug them in and say, I wonder if I like that. So that's not looking too great, but that's a way you can play with ColorAI and use different templates just to start to mold your brand to see how you want it to look. All right, moving on, we have Brandfetch. And Brandfetch is really great if you're working with existing clients that already have an established brand. What I like to do if I don't have a plugin like this is go to their website and you can screenshot their web designs, bring it into Figma, and you can use the eyedropper to take some of those colors. It's just more of a manual process. You can even take some of their icons and things like that and pull them in manually. This is something, it doesn't take a huge amount of time. I can do this in probably 15 minutes to a half hour to pull some brand assets and start to apply that into a new design. Let's say that they want you to create a new landing page. But with Brandfetch, it'll do all of this for you and just fetch that brand. I'm just going to try it out. We'll go to plugins and we'll go into our saved plugins here, and I'll choose Brandfetch. And just very simply, you can just type in redbull.com and it'll find some of their different properties. So I want this redbull.com right here. And it's going to grab some icons, whether these are SVG or PNG. It'll grab some colors from the site, the fonts, and also images that it finds, banner images and things like that. You can just click and add these logos. So here's one variant right here. We'll grab this logo and we'll apply that as well. And let's just move this around. You can see that this is an SVG, so we can go in there and we can turn this into Rodable if we want. I might get in trouble doing this, so please don't hate. Boom, bucket, fill, and that's a very skewy Rodable. So that's what's great about some of the vector assets. This is something that would not be sanctioned if you're actually working with them as a client. Do not touch their brand. So just leave it like this, but might be ideal if they don't have variations. Let's say that you do have their brand style guide and you know that there's a stackable version like this that you want to use. You can just simply take that, zoom right in, and it's razor sharp. So that's really great. Now we go into the colors here. We can take all of those colors. Same thing with the fonts. There's a preview that's unavailable if you don't have it installed. If you do, just from my past experience, it will show that preview, which is really great. And now if I click on this image here, it will insert the image for me. And I can scale that and use that however I'd like. Next up is Background Remover, and this is something that I can do in Photoshop very quickly, but to save some round tripping and to be able to do this directly in Figma, it does still save me a lot of time. So this is a very straightforward plugin, and I want to give you an idea of how good it is at removing backgrounds. The most ideal solution is something like this with a solid white background or a solid pink background, but I'm going to show you 6 different variations and how that background remover works. Now you'll notice when I go and use plugins, I just go to the plugin menu right here and find some of them here, but there's actually another button right here that will open up a resources panel, and this is something that you can detach and just use this anywhere you'd like. And one thing is, if you're exploring plugins and you don't have a lot of them saved, you can actually find some from the community directly here and just start running them. So I'm going to just select this image right here, and I'll just type into search background. And the way that this plugin works is you just click run and then remove background. And you can see that it's running this background remover in the background. So removing background in the background. And as soon as that's done, you'll see the full transparency and how good of a job it does at removing all the boundaries. There we go. Now we can take this, and with the Option Command right bracket, you can see that it actually does a really good job. So one of the limitations with this is there's no fine tuning or control. It's just remove background or have background. You can still view this image on Unsplash because I brought that in from the Unsplash plugin, but that's really great. So because we don't have those controls, this is an ideal solution to remove the background. I'm going to quickly remove the background on all of these, and then we'll show you what the results look like. So as you can see, this actually did a really good job. Even with one of the more complex images, I would have thought this would have been the most difficult one. This one here still has some something there. Let's go and view this on Unsplash just to see what it used to look like. So I guess as far as all this dust, I can see that it actually, considering, still did a really good job. And so as far as that, if I wanted to crop that out, there we go. Still does a really good job. I notice on this image it kind of removes some of this, so it's not perfect, but you can see 4 out of 6 right here did an excellent job. So we can take this here, for example. We can just give her a new hand with ice cream just like that. There we go. And that is totally believable. Who needs Midjourney? Alright, so in addition to the background remover plugin, if you go into this plugin right here and choose go to web version right here, you'll get this version, and you can actually drop up to 500 images. So if you have product images that you want to remove the background and see what a red background looks like on those images, you can do that in bulk here. So upload up to 500 images at once. I've already taken these same 2 images, and it looks like it does the same thing as the plugin, just in bulk. So this is where you can click download. It'll assemble and give you those PNGs. So a great addition to that plugin. All right, next up is Table Creator, and this is really helpful when you want to create tables. And if you don't know what you're doing when creating tables, you might just create some shapes like this for some cells and go over here and turn them into rows and columns. But if you do it the right way and you use components and nested components and variables, you can create something that's scalable that you can reuse throughout your design. But learning how to set up those components and variables and nested components can be a challenge in itself if you're not used to that. And this is where this plugin comes in very handy, because it does all the heavy lifting for us. So I'm going to go ahead and delete that. We'll just jump into our components here, and we have this table creator. So all we have to do is choose create table, and it'll ask if we want to start with a new template or import a template. And because we don't have one to import, we'll just choose new template. And then we can add the columns and rows, the width, and then the height is just hugging. So let's say that we want to do something maybe like this. So that's 6 columns, 3 rows. And then the width we want to fill. If they're center aligned, we'll just do a top aligned right here and create table. So when we create this table here, the beauty here is we do have this set up for us. So if we want to go into the cell, for example, we can choose this cell. And we can change this to maybe our bold red color. So we can change that if we want to just turn that up like this. That doesn't look that great. But changing that within the cell component here is going to change that within our table and also within our table component. And if we just choose this cell component, we can see all of these selection colors within here. And so this stroke color right here, if you want to change this all at once, you can change that here and see what that looks like right here. So let's see if we want to make it a little bit more subtle, something like that. And another nice thing is if we want to change that row height right here, we can change that within the table itself. So as we use that table again, we can jump into the components. We can choose that table and just drag this in, and we have that with the new updated heights. So now how do we use this table? If we jump in here, we can actually just hit Command D, 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 D for new rows, and we can swap out these rows. Because this is using auto layout, everything's incorporated for us. Super helpful to be able to use this plugin, quickly get those tables, and then universally change everything. Last thing about this plugin is it actually has cells to be able to add that content within here, and you can see as it wraps, it's growing and fitting that content for you. So really awesome to be able to have all of that. You can change that, change the width of everything. It just works beautifully. Next, let's jump into HippoAI. And HippoAI can generate a lot of images. So we do have Unsplash for our stock images. But here's what's great about HippoAI. When we go into plugins, we open up HippoAI. Now you can generate beautiful web illustrations. So to get started, we need to select a layer or create one. I'm just going to create a 512 by 512. And this is something that you just want to select what you want to create here, and then select the style preset here from photography, architecture, icons, vector illustrations, and things like that. So let's just get started here. And as you can see here, we're not able to add anything exactly because it is a paid plugin. So if you click upgrade right here, basically it's going to charge 1 penny per generation, which is still very cost effective for imagery if you wanted to use this. But for right now, I'm just going to randomize and just see what I like here. Let's try a sailboat. And you can choose some raw models from OpenJourney or Dolly or any of those, Stable Diffusion. Or if you wanted to choose something like just like a daytime portrait, or let's say that we wanted something like a flat vector. We can go down there and just click generate. You'll see this little progress here as it generates. And one thing that's really nice within this plugin too is it will generate an image, but built inside is the ability to vectorize this if you wanted to reshape it differently. Because we all know AI is still learning and there might be some things that are a little bit skewed or off. And if you want to change that, you have the complete ability to do so. So I'll show you that once this generates. All right, so there's our sailboat here. We can see different variants. So with 1 penny, we have 8 different variants that we can choose from. So I'll select this one. That one looks pretty good. So now that we have this is just an image. But if we click modification and we add that, we can remove background from here. We can remove text, upscale, zoom out, or what I really love is this vectorize. So let's zoom in here and we can see all those beautiful pixels right there. And if we want to make this razor sharp, we're going to just click Vectorize and apply changes. So there it goes, loading for us. Now, I try not to showcase plugins that are paid plugins because there's that barrier, and I know that a lot of you are trying to save money, but this really is something that's very powerful for very inexpensive for what you get. And very easily we can select this rectangle, we can go into show selection colors and just see what all these colors look like. And if we want to change any of them, we can change them very easily because it is vectorized. And something like this, for example, this is a gradient that we might want to just reapply as a gradient. So I'll just choose this side just to show you what I'm talking about and how to do this. All you would need to do is click merge right here. Now that's one object. And when we go into fill, we can go into gradient and we can choose this color right here. We can just select this and this color right here. We can select down here. And now we have that beautiful gradient within that vectorization. All right, jumping back in onto the next one, there's another plugin called Content Reel, and this is something that I've showcased in the past, but again, there's a lot of things that you can use AI for a lot of your copy, and then there's still some things that are very helpful as far as random dates or names or addresses, and you can use Content Reel to still get a lot of this content in here. So for example, with this table we created, if we wanted to simply select the text within here, we can select all of that and just add some names in there. There you go. We're going to do the same thing over here. Maybe we want some addresses in here. So US full address. We'll go ahead and click apply and we have all of those created. So very easy when you're generating tables or generating text in different elements to be able to do that. And in addition to that, if we had little avatars or if we had rectangles that we wanted to display images, in addition to Unsplash, we can go into our images here and just add photos, logos, maps. The options are endless. So Content Reel is still one of my main go-tos just because it has that categorized content as far as the text, images, icons, and things like that. And I always like to just jump in there and dump that data in there. All right, we're getting down to the home stretch, and these two next plugins are some really wowing, amazing plugins in what they're able to do. So the second to last one that I want to show is the Wireframe Designer. Now, this is something, like I said, I use ChatGPT for a lot of my content. I usually have that displayed right here, and I have Figma right here, and I work side by side with Figma and ChatGPT. But there's some times where right within the plugin, this could be very useful. So let's say that I want to just create a new page right here. Let's call this a sporting goods website. So we don't have any artboards, we don't have anything set up. We're just going to go into our resources, and I'm going to search for a wireframe. And this is it, Wireframe Designer. Now, this thing is just magical. It's unbelievable. This is something that works with AI. So it's just asking, what do you want to design today? Now, when you're designing page by page, wouldn't it be helpful for AI to have some context into your business or your brand? And this is why I always use ChatGPT or another window, because it can go and remember a lot of the past conversation that I have and apply that in context to the next thing that I ask. That's where some of these plugins fall short. But with this plugin, when we go into the settings, we can actually add that context. So I can say sporting goods store called, let's say Wasatch Sporting Goods. And this brand has an adventurous personality and makes bold claims on great value sporting products. We sell categories like for biking, camping, softball, basketball, and fishing. This is an e-commerce store. So we'll just start with something like that. Now, I want to design for the desktop. So that's our context. We're going to click OK. And now, what do you want to design today? I want a home page that has a navigation that shows all our product categories. I want a hero slider image showing deals we have on camping gear. Below that, I want a section that has a grid with camping products. And below that, I want to have a banner letting them know to check out all our discounts and deals. The last section, I want them to sign up to our newsletter and then have a footer at the bottom. So we'll start with something like that. And again, this is a wireframe, so we're not worrying about the design right now, but to have the hierarchy and the layout and things just generated for us right in front of our eyes so you can see designing right there, isn't that just like the most magical thing you've ever seen? This gets me excited about designing. And the thing that's so powerful about this, especially for freelancers out there that are thinking about the scope of new websites to create, this can set you above the competition to be able to, within the next day, offer something at this level of this value. To be able to create concepts that quickly and show that off is just a game changer. Now again, as soon as you get the layout and the content signed off, you are going to want to do what you got paid for and actually design this and actually set the brand. But this is just really awesome to be able to even switch. You can see that it has auto layout incorporated, so you can swap that out. We can go in here, change that. So if we want to remove that and just have 2 in there, that's great. If, again, we want to just jump in here and just hit Command or Control D and duplicate, we can have 4 in there. Wireframe Designer is really a game changer to super fast explore some concepts, see what you want out of an app or out of a website, display that for your clients to get that low fidelity wireframe sign off, and then really jump into what we love to do is actually design the experience, the look, and the branding. All right, last plugin I want to talk about, and there are some other great plugins out there, so really just jump in and click that run button because most of these are free. They're very quick to explore. Videos like this will help guide you through what the value is and how you can use a lot of these. But really, if you explored this according to your use case, you might find some that are far more compelling that I haven't had a chance to review yet. But the next one that I want to show off is html.to.design. So again, I work with a lot of brands, and there's some times where they have a starting landing page and they want to just show a concept of maybe a new image carousel or a certain call to action within the same design. So if we're talking about something, let's say for Apple, if we go into apple.com, I might see a website like this, for example, and what I would do just to quickly change something is just hold down Shift Control Command 4 and go in here and just start to screenshot a lot of this and paste it into Figma just to show what that landing page looks like. So I would start to build it like this and just bring that within here. And as soon as you do that, there are a lot of times just to quickly get an idea across of maybe what a banner looks like on this website. We might be looking at some paid ads. We'll do something like that, wrap it around a frame, and then just add this banner and show what that looks like. Or if you wanted to remove something here, you would just draw a rectangle, hit the I button for the eyedropper, and that's how you would remove icons to add new ones. But it's a very cut and paste, hacked way of changing something on a landing page. So that's where this plugin comes in very handy for me, is I can actually convert a web page into a Figma design. And a lot of the times with auto layout and everything already incorporated, it's so powerful. A lot of these plugins in the past, there's been a lot of plugins that have claimed to do something like this, but they're very gimmicky and sometimes they're so frustrating, you just want to go back and recreate them anyways. This is where I balance something that's magical, that's actually impactful and super time saving. And this plugin here is html.to.design. We can find that here from the community, and we just click run right here. And really, I can't believe how cool this is. So first of all, what size do you want? I'll just choose the 1440 right here, light or dark mode. You can save multiple viewports. Now this is a paid upgrade, so if you wanted to for $15 a month per user, honestly, all these are worth it, but let's just jump right into just importing this for free. So just watch what it does for free right here. And you can install a browser extension. This is really helpful for pages where you have to log in. And once you log into that in Chrome, you can just click on that browser extension to pull that into Figma. But for right now, I'm just going to click import and just watch the magic that happens. And this is where things usually kind of just blow up and you're like, oh man, this isn't organized the right way. It doesn't have auto layout incorporated the right way. It didn't pull in the right text or sizes. Colors might be off, but when I did this, I was like magically surprised at everything that it's doing. All right, so seriously, let's get this out of the way. Check that out. That's the website we have. Not only do we have this website, we have the full resolution images within here, within each frame. So just to be able to take this, I'm just going to take this section right here. Let's swap this out. Boom, 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 boom. We can do that very easily. Let's say that we don't want to showcase the iPhone 15 because the Pro is so cool, but now we don't want black on black, so let's go in here and change this right there. So within here, let's just dissect what it's doing. When we go into here, we can see all of the hierarchy of the HTML right here with the divs, the div modules, things like that. But one thing that I found super just amazing is even right within here, we have the auto layout. So we say, you know what, this vision thing is not going to do good. That Oculus is just way too competitive, so let's not do that. We're not that great at entertainment, so let's remove that. There we go. And just changing the text. So what do we do when we want to upgrade the iPhone 16 Pro? We just do that, and no need to replace the image here because they always look the same. So titanium, now we're going to say, so for the iPhone 16, we're going to say Valerian. And I don't know how to spell Valerian steel, but there we go. Let's see. That sounds better. So that's the iPhone 16 Pro. We can come down here. Really the same hierarchy for the HTML. Like, this is just so cool. Now, this still is dependent on how this website was generated and how it's created. So there might be some layers that are meant for code that aren't really relevant in the design. So there still might be some cleanup. But just how powerful this is, it's just amazing to be able to just remove a slider very quickly, bring this up here, and let's just bring this slider up right here. And I'll bet you there's something overlaying here that we can just turn that on and off just to see what that looks like. And it looks like as we're looking at this, even this image is at 100%, but it has a pass-through layer that we can just say, now this is 100% right here, and this one right here is now 29%. So isn't that like the coolest thing you've ever seen in your life? And that is a perfect one to end on the top 10 plugins for Figma. The future is looking very bright for design tools, and especially as Figma and other tools incorporate AI, there are opportunity for better ways to incorporate this. But this stuff is really groundbreaking right now. So we're really exploring the ideas of what's possible with artificial intelligence, machine learning, with a tool like Figma. And to be able to have something so lightweight, so powerful, so quick, with all of these powerful plugins that really just click that run button, nothing to install, you don't have to put it in a subfolder or anything like that. Like, this is just amazing to be able to explore all the boundaries of what's possible in your design. So I encourage you to explore the community to see what other plugins there are out there. And I'm going to be talking about FigJam, which is a virtual whiteboard that Figma also has. And in there, I'm going to be talking about widgets. Now, widgets are different than plugins, and they can be used, some of them, in Figma and FigJam. So if you're interested in that video, that'll be next. And I'll have the link in the description so you can explore that as well. I hope you found this video useful. If you did, please click subscribe and hit that bell notification for more videos.